Let's start our look with Brunelleschi. Here is Brunelleschi's work. And let me just zoom in. Oh, there we go. Now, Brunelleschi, of the two between Brunelleschi and Ghiberti, Brunelleschi was the more established artist. He was older than Ghiberti, and he had been a part of the art world in Florence longer than Ghiberti. Now, here is his Sacrifice of Isaac. We see Isaac in the center of the panel, and he's crouched on the sacrificial altar. We see Abraham with the blade to his throat, and then we see the angel rushing in from the side. And it's very similar to what we saw in Giotto's work, right? The blur of the angel as it rushes in and makes contact with Abraham's forearm. And Abraham looks up at the angel as the angel says, "Stop! Wait!" Now, in addition to that, Brunelleschi is going to be showing off. He says, hey, I know in these panels, I'm going to probably need to do a lot of livestock. So here I've got this horse. Here's the sacrificial lamb. I've got some bushes behind it. Also, I do some really complicated poses very well. Like this figure here, he's adjusting his stockings. This guy here, he's poking at a thorn stuck in his foot. Those are difficult positions to depict, right? Somebody's bent over, balancing. So Brunelleschi's, he's really showing off with this. Additionally, look at the fabric. Look how the folds fall down. They show or indicate the weight of the body. There's that sense of modeling that we've started to appreciate. Also, well, and that modeling of the body is something that we can connect with classical world. In ancient Greek and ancient Roman art, the kind of drapery that would fall on the figure, and what we started to appreciate in the work of Giotto with the chiaroscuro. So Brunelleschi's like, yeah, look at Abraham. I know how to do fabric. I know how to do all the stuff that the ancient Romans and the Greeks love to do in their artwork. Additionally, this figure here, he's a specific callback. He's very popular in ancient Greek and Roman art as a youth picking thorn. This is an ancient Greek bronze sculpture of a young man who is picking a thorn out from the bottom of his foot. And I don't know how to best explain this to you, but just as today we have some favored artworks or favorite kind of subjects or storylines, for some reason the ancient Greeks and Romans, they love this kind of a young man pulling a thorn out of the bottom of his foot. I'm not going to get into the details of the kind of psychoanalysis of what this could be, but just so that you and I are on the same page with Brunelleschi, this was a very popular theme in the ancient classical world. Oh, young boy pulling a thorn from his foot. Young man pulling a thorn from his foot. So Brunelleschi's like, oh, you know how you love to see that ancient Roman Greek stuff? I'll do it here. It's a complicated pose, and it's very much part of the classical world. I'm amazing. Pick me. But let's now go to Ghiberti's panel. Here we are looking at Ghiberti's panel, The Sacrifice of Isaac. Okay, where's Isaac? Well, he's over on the side. He's over on the side and he's crouched down on that sacrificial altar. Okay, cool. The center is where we see Abraham. And then Abraham's got the blade. There's the angel rushing forward to stop Abraham. Ghiberti is also going to give us the sacrificial lamb, some vegetation. There's our donkey right there to show that he knows how to draw he knows how to sculpt animals. He too is going to show off with drapery, right? Look at how the form is hidden and revealed under that fabric. Same kind of appreciation of highlights, midtones, and shadows that we saw in Brunelleschi's work. Now, his complicated postures and poses, instead of giving us two figures bent over on the sides like Brunelleschi did, he gives us two figures who are in conversation, and one is in front of and one is behind the donkey. And then he gives us this really long landscape up through to the sacrificial lamb. All right, okay. Now it's interesting to note that not only does Ghiberti switch out the figures, he puts Abraham in the center of the frame and Isaac on the side, but the nudity of Isaac is exaggerated. Let's go back and we can do a comparison of the two artists. Here. So you see how Isaac is in the center and his naked body is twisted and turned in a very complicated pose, of course, to show off, right? But how would you describe the body of Isaac for Ghiberti? It's stronger. Physically, there's more muscular definition. Also, the way he stands, more upright. Whereas Brunelleschi's Isaac is much more passive and vulnerable. That is an interesting observation. So when we look at Ghiberti, we see this very strong Isaac who has been set off to the side. And this is Ghiberti's way of making references to the classical world. Just as Brunelleschi did in his work, well, it's a Renaissance, and Ghiberti's part of the Renaissance, so where's his rebirth? It's not in a thorn-picking youth. What is it? It's in the body of Isaac. What Ghiberti has created in the body of Isaac is the classic heroic male nude. Let me show you the slide. Hold on. Here we go. So what we are supposed to be making a connection to is Ghiberti's Isaac is very similar in connection to what we see in a lot of ancient Greek and ancient Roman art, which is this heroic male nude statue. Here's another one, and another one. We're supposed to be drawing a connection between the ancient Greek preference for these very strong, tall, lean men who were depicted as heroes and Isaac here. So that is our Renaissance. That's our rebirth for the Ghiberti work. So now let's do a quick kind of virtual comparison of the two. And then in the discussion board, I want you to tell me which one you think should win and why. And don't worry about being wrong, because the guy who loses, he's going to be fine. Don't worry about it. So let's go make a comparison of those two. Who should win? Okay. So they're both giving us the sacrifice of Isaac. Great. They're both giving us complicated positions, layouts. We have two figures here and this kind of bent over on either side, and then here we have one in front of the other, and then they both have the angel rushing in. What's the difference in their angels? Brunelleschi's angel has made contact and stopped the sacrifice. Abraham is looking at the angel, and the angel says, "No, stop." Has the angel made contact in Ghiberti's? Not yet. The angel's still swooping in. Abraham's attention is still on Isaac. Oh, so Isaac is not yet saved in Ghiberti's. The story has not yet been completed. Ooh, okay, let's think about the composition. Brunelleschi gives us this very clear focus on Isaac in the center. The angel bends into this scene. The two figures on the bottom bend or curve their bodies into. And what this does is it helps keep our eye nestled within the framework of this composition. It's very singular. Ghiberti, well, his composition, Abraham's attention is pushed out of the center, And those two figures, they're looking at each other. There's two kind of focus points here, right? And then we have this long landscape that leads back out, up to the sacrificial lamb. So Ghiberti is giving us a lot more depth. The focus point may be broken, but there's more depth here. There's more space. Whereas Brunelleschi's given us figures in the front, figures in the middle, figures in the back. He's giving us that kind of shallow, stacked space. Okay. Another element that's different. Well, let's think about the meaning of the sacrifice of Isaac. It's called the sacrifice of Isaac, but who is it a story about? It's about Abraham. It's about his grappling with his faith, that he receives the word from God to sacrifice his beloved son. So Ghiberti chooses then to give the central space in the frame to the central figure of conflict, whereas Brunelleschi focuses on the sacrificial character in this story. Now, I'm not saying one is better than the other. I'm helping you kind of look at these two pieces so that you can then tell me in your discussion board which one you think should win this commission. Now, I'll tell you who's going to win this commission. So pause this, start writing down your ideas before you find out from me who's going to win. Okay, I'm going to wait. Pause. Did you pause? Did you pause? So you can write down before you find out the results? Okay. The winner of the commission for the baptistry doors goes to Ghiberti. Ghiberti won the competition. So Ghiberti is going to win the commission for the 2 bronze doors, and these doors are going to be taking up a lot of his time, like 30 years of his time. Yeah. Now, I don't want you to feel bad about Brunelleschi, because we're going to now follow what he's going to be up to while Ghiberti is working on those doors.